Hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Niazi. Welcome to UOWD Microsoft Community Tutorial. This is a tutorial about the HTML, and we'll be working on the tables and their stylings, and we might be working on some of the new properties of the tags and some other things related to the stylings. So let us start with it. Okay, so I have already set up this website project. So went to new and then website project, and I added some code to it. So and we have one config file, we have one HTML file, and this is a code of index.html. Let us go through the code itself and let's see what it is doing. Before that, let us execute this code and let's see what's the output and how does it display on the web page. So the output of this one appears like this, and you can see that there is a red color around the table. Each column headings are covered with the 1 pixel green solid lines, and the headings are bold and they are centered, and the columns values are left line, and they are in the simple text. So let's go over the code itself and let's see how we are approaching this output. Alright, so let's look at the code, and if you see here, the table starts from here and it ends up here. So this is a table tag, and then we have a body tag which is starting from here and ending here, and then we have the rows. We have 2 rows here. The top one is the headers, and the bottom one is the data under those headers. Each row, th or the header displays 1 column, so we have 3 columns, and this displays the headings in each column, and this displays the following data in each columns. Okay, so this is an overall output. So let's run the code, and then we're going to compare each line one by one to see how we achieve that final goal. Okay, so let's execute the code and we see the output, and if we go line by line, we see that this table is aligned in the center, and when we go in the output, we may see that the table is aligned in the center because the margins are starting from this end till here and from this end till here. So our table is basically automatically in the center of the whole width which is assigned to it. And if we go further in the code, we display that the width of the table is 50%. So if we go back to the output, this is if you look at the whole width, and this is the 50% of the whole width provided to the table. Let's move on further, and if you see, the border which is provided is 1 pixel solid red, and this is the border we're talking about here. So the overall whole table is has a 1 pixel solid red border. And if you look at the padding left, now the padding left means basically the beginning of the table, or the coordinates 0, 0 of the table starts from here. So this part, this is basically the left part of the table itself. Okay, so when we talk about the padding left, it is starting from this table, we are giving padding of left, padding of 40 pixels on the left side, and then we begin the rest of the content. So this is 40 pixel, which we can see here according to the code. And then if we look at padding right, which is also 40 pixels, so if we go back to our table, we may see the same situation is here, and we are providing 40 pixels of padding right here. Okay, so this is our beginning of the table. Okay, so now when we talk about the margin left and margin right of 5 pixels, And how do they differ? Let me try to show you the difference between them. So this is, if we consider this as the beginning, okay, on the left side of the table. When we talk about the padding left, okay, so it will start from this side and it will add 40 pixels and it will start displaying the content, okay. So but when we talk about the margin left, okay, so this is the left, okay. From here we are taking 5 pixels of margin here, so this area is 5 pixel. So you understand the concept, like this whole, if I take this color, okay, this whole side is the margin, okay, and this whole side is the padding. So whenever we talk about the padding is going in the table and our contents moves inside from that particular region, while the margin is from outside the table and we are moving the table inside the whole container. To get a better picture, let's make this width to 100%, and then you will get a much better picture. I'm gonna save this, and if I'm gonna refresh it, if you notice this thing here, you will notice that we still have the padding here, padding of 40 pixels here, and we have 5 pixels of margin left here, okay. Similarly, so this is how it is set up, and this is how the padding and the margin differs from each other, okay. So now let's move on further with the code. So this is how it is displaying, okay. Now let's move to the first row, and in the first row we say that the width of the first row is 100 pixels, and so if we move back to the code, so this is the first row, and this is what the 100 pixel we are talking about here, okay. So this is 100 pixels of the first column, okay. So the first column is stated as 100 pixels, and then it has a border of solid green, okay. So if we go back to the code, so this is the solid green which we achieved around the content called subject, and after that we are displaying the content which is subject here. So this finishes our first column, and now we will go to the second column's heading, and we see that again that the width is 100 pixels and the border is solid green for the student. So if we go back, we have the same scenario, and we have the green border around, and we have the student name displayed in the middle, and it is of 100 pixels, okay. So, and if we go to the last one, if you see, and if you remember in the past tutorial we were talking about the third column, we never display the width because the overall width is 100%, and we have no clue what particular device is being used here and what is the actual width of that website web page or the web. So what we do is we define all the columns but the last one. So in our case we have 3 columns, so the first 2 columns are defined with the particular width, and the third one is left, so that all the rest of the width is gonna be associated to the third column. And in our case, if we go here, all this width starting from here till end here is provided to the third column named marks. And if we look at the border, which is 1 pixel solid border in green color, this is the green color we're talking about here, okay. So now if we look at the data of the table, the data doesn't have any settings set up at this moment, so it is just displaying as is. We have by default it is always left aligned, so as you can see it here, and by default it is displaying the same font and same layout as it is being inherited in the from the top. Now you might have noticed that my solution is still executed, and I'm making changes here, and all I'm doing is refreshing and it is making the changes. For example, if I change this to 50 percent, and I save it and I just refresh here, and it will refresh automatically. So yes, you can do this in Visual Studios. When it is running, you can make the changes and just refresh it on the front end, and it will display the changes. Now let's make the changes in the data. Let us add the background of this particular data as red. Okay, so we're gonna add the style property, and we will say background color as red, let's say. Okay, and I'm gonna add the same property to all the 3 columns. Okay, oops, so I'm gonna add, I accidentally pressed Ctrl C. Alright, so I pressed Ctrl C. I'm gonna delete this one. Alright, so I have added the property of the background red. So when we look at the front end, we can see the background is colored red now. So now the question arises, let's say what if we have 1000 columns? I cannot literally go in each column and start typing or copy pasting 1000 times to display it. So there has to be an easy way of doing all this fancy stuff, right? To add the stylings to these columns, to the data, and or to any particular thing on the website or a particular item. And for this purposes, we bring the style sheet into consideration, and that's where we will see how powerful CSS or cascading style sheets are. So let us try to do the same thing using the style sheet. So let me add some code, and then I'm going to display what exactly am I doing here. So I'm going to type here style, and then here I'm going to say let's say TD, and then background color green. Alright, so I'm gonna save this, and let's see on the front end what changes it takes. It has made the all background as green. So what exactly is happening? What I have done is I have started a new tag which is called style. So I'm basically adding a new style, and I'm adding ending it with the style. And then I'm saying here, okay, wherever you find the TD tag in the code, apply this particular style to it. Okay, so in our code we have TD here, we have TD here, we have TD here. So it is applying our code to this particular style to this particular code. So whatever the changes I'm gonna make here is gonna get displayed here. So for example, I write font size, let's say I want to make it huge. Alright, so large, and then if I refresh it, and it has made it bigger now. So this is quite beneficial when we talk about the overall styling, because I don't have to literally figure out how many TDs are there or there will be down the road in our code. All I need to do is just add this particular style, and I can make a change to it. Let's try to add another style to it so we can grab a lot better picture. So let's say I want to make the background of the heading as background color to, let's say, aqua. Okay, so I'm going to make a change in this way. I'm going to go in front, and I'm going to change, and you can see wherever TH was found, it has done this. It is quite beneficial in many senses. For example, let's say with a TD, I can even write text align center. Alright, so technically it should center the whole content of TD, and this is what it is doing now. So you see, now this has really made our life quite easy, and this I mean we can do a bunch of fancy other things by just changing the things in the style, and we don't really have to bother about who's going to make the changes to the main actual code. With this said, there are certain rules and regulations how this particular style is implemented. So let me do one more thing. Let me try to change. Let's say I want to change the border of the heading to red. Okay, at this moment it is showing green. I want to change it to red. I'm gonna remove this remove the background color. Okay, and I'm gonna say border 1 pixel solid red. Okay, so technically after writing this and saving and executing, it should display a red border around our heading tag. So when I refresh it, it is still showing green color around the borders. Now why is that? Because when the code executes, it says, okay, get all the th and change the border from one from if it is none border, whatever the border is there, just change it to 1 pixel solid red. Okay, when the code comes here, it finds the th, it tries to implement this particular style to it, but we are also explicitly saying, okay, I don't care what you mentioned in the style sheet, I want this particular th to be displaying in green. Okay, so this property overrides the quality and the property which we displayed here. Now if I remove this particular green from the only first heading, and if I save it and if I go in front, and you will see that now the property which was defined in the style has been executed on this particular header, but the other ones is still showing the other ones because I have explicitly defined green in front of them. Hope it makes sense now. Okay, I'm going to end my tutorial here. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Follow us on Facebook at UOWD Microsoft Community. Thank you.